Sentai! Zyuranger!
Hi! Welcome to episode 6 of my Zyuranger episode reviews. This is the second part of the third two-parter that makes up the opening 6 episodes. Where we left off last episode, the 4 of the Zyurangers were trapped and turned into trees that were going to be cut down soon to make way for a golf course. Geki has been dreaming repeatedly of quarry or wasteland, which at the end of the last episode he summoned the Tyrannosaurus Guardian Beast and was actually sent to this wasteland. And we've got a riddle monster, Dora Sphinx, whose riddles don't always make sense to those of us who only speak English, but I'm sure they worked a lot better in Japanese. But let's get on with episode 6. The episode opens as the last one ended, with Geki alone in the wasteland of his dreams, struggling to climb a steep gravel bank. Geki slips and falls before grabbing a rock and climbing back up. Reaching the top, he sees ruined buildings, including a mangled Tokyo Tower, which he recognises. He realises he's looking at Tokyo, but claims it's impossible, as he starts walking along, but the ground gives way beneath him and he falls back down the slope, landing at the bottom with a thud, where he's shocked to find several skeletons dressed in the clothes of his fellow rangers. As he tries to figure out what's going on, the 5 guardian beasts appear above a cloud in the sky. Beams of light come from the guardian beast's eyes and meet above Geki, covering him in light, and then he hears a voice calling him leader of the Zyurangers, the voice telling him to unite the 5 hearts, or what he sees here will be the future of Earth. A wind blows the dust around Geki, revealing a large figure buried in the ground. Brushing the dirt away, Geki asks what it is, and he's told, Daizyujin. When the Guardians unite, they can form Daizyujin, after first becoming the Beast Tank Dino Tanker. But even if that happens, this will still be the future if the Rangers cannot unite as one. As Geki vows to unite the Rangers, he's thrown out of the wasteland and back to Earth, landing among the trees where his friends are trapped. He apologises for not being the leader he should have been, asking for forgiveness and promising to rescue them all. Barza appears and tells him the key to uniting the Guardian Beasts is the 5 Dino Crystals, but he doesn't know where to find them. Before they can talk more, Dora Sphinx attacks Geki, with Grifforza joining him. Geki transforms and continues to fight them, again ending up in the same quarry as before. Pandora cheers on her monsters from the moon, before making both of them grow. Geki dodges the feet and attacks of the supersized monsters. He draws his sword, but as he holds it up, a beam of energy shoots out of it, causing a wall of the quarry to collapse. Geki races over, avoiding energy blasts from Grifforza, and finds a bag in the rubble. Inside is the 5 Dino Crystals. Throwing 4 of them into the sky, they fly to the trees, freeing the Zyurangers, who race to join him. Summoning the Guardian Beasts, Geki enters the Tyrannosaurus and powers it up. Having reached the quarry, the other Rangers also transform and enter their own Guardian Beasts. And using their Dino Crystals, the Guardians unite to form Beast Tank Dino Tanker. Grifforza launches an attack on the Dino Tanker, but the Rangers respond by firing the Beast Tank Cannon, swiftly followed by Beast Tank Storm. Grifforza and Dora Sphinx attack the Dino Tank again, as the Rangers decide to form Daizyujin. Screeching to a halt, the cannons become fists and the tank raises up, with a Pteranodon becoming the chest plate. Pandora's amazed, not knowing that could happen, as Daizyujin easily takes on the 2 monsters, even becoming the Dino Tank again to ram Grifforza before standing up again. Time is of the essence, however, as May notices that the trees are being felled for the golf course, and soon it will be the ones the children are stuck in. Dora Sphinx has had enough, however, and returns to human form to issue another riddle challenge. If you wear one, it's convenient, but it's inconvenient with 2. Grifforza begins to attack, but Sphinx yells at him to stop, so Grifforza lies down to have a rest. Dan guesses the answer is a baseball glove. Riddle 2, a bee came flying by. Where did it come from? Boy correctly guesses west. Meanwhile, the loggers are getting ever closer to the children. A dentist was scolded by a police officer. Why? Again, Dan has the answer, because he fired a shot. Geki has an idea, and claiming that Sphinx's riddles are far too easy, and that maybe if he asked a hard riddle, such as about his weakness, then nobody could answer it. Dora Sphinx chooses to use that as his next riddle. As time ticks down, Geki guesses the chest, but it's wrong, as Dora Spinks reveals that his weakness is actually the snake on his headdress. Changing back to a giant monster, he flaps his wings to send Daizyujin flying, but the Rangers summon Dinosaur Sword Godhorn, and using Super Legend Lightning Cut, they slash at Dora Spinks, cutting off his snake and destroying him, freeing all of the children. Causing another migraine for Bandora, and with Geki proclaiming that he will take care of teamwork, the other Rangers acknowledge him as their leader, and with Daizyujin looking on, the episode ends. Well, that was episode 6, and what an episode. Going straight into the Zyuranger, Super Sentai, Power Rangers comparisons here. Power Rangers, I mean, pretty much every series, I think, they give you the Megazords, bang, episode 1, Megazords. They're like, hey, look at the big toy you can buy every year, woo, get this. Sentai didn't do that. I mean, the first 2 episodes, the opening 2-parter, you had the Rangers for about 2 minutes at the end, have a little fight, and then everything's done for the episode. The second part of it, you know, their weapons get broken that they've got, so you've just got the Rangers. Oh, and they introduce the Tyrannosaurus. That's it. The second 2-parter, okay, you get all the Guardian Beasts. You learn that they're sentient, they're not just robots. And yeah, they're on a quest for new weapons, so obviously the next part of that, you get the weapons, which they were toys. You know, you could get the weapons, you could make the Howling Blaster or the Power Cannon, I think it was in Power Rangers. And now we're on the third 2-parter, which opens up the series. And obviously we had all the Guardian Beasts fighting in the last episode, and now we've got Daizyujin. In fact, no, sorry, we didn't even get the Guardian Beast in the first part. We've only had the Guardian Beast in the second part, and they make the, what was it, the Dino Tank Battle Tanker or something like that, which is an absolutely brilliant name. And of course, the Daizyujin itself, or Megazord for the Power Rangers fans. And I think that's a good build-up. And I noticed when I was first watching a lot of Sentai, they do leave it quite a few episodes, especially in sort of this era of Sentai. You do have to wait about between 5 and 7 episodes to see the main mecha. So it's a nice build-up. Get the kids coming back week after week. Or if you're like me, you'll just come back anyway. I mean, I'm watching Boom Boomja at the moment. I'm still coming back every week. And, you know, I've just been watching King Oja up until earlier this year. I love Sentai, I really do. But yeah, this episode was good. It was fun. The Megazord fight at the end, it showed off the strength of Megazords, fighting off Grafforza and Dora Spinks at the same time. Again, most of the riddles didn't really make that much sense in English. It was good that they actually had to use their brains to defeat Dora Spinks by tricking him into revealing his own weakness. And that was obviously Geki's idea. They trusted him as a leader when he was going, oh, no, they're too easy. You know, you've got to give us something hard. But again, I think with the whole bit in the Wastelands where the gods are talking to Geki and they're saying, you know, if you guys don't get your act together, the Earth is, you're all going to lose. This is what's going to happen. You can make Daizyujin. But if you guys aren't united, if you guys aren't a proper team, yeah, you're all screwed. This is all going to hell. That wasteland over there with the busted Tokyo Tower, that's the future. And also, that's another thing. Daizyujin is made of the 5 Guardian Beasts. They are sentient beings, sentient robots, sentient beings. So when they form Daizyujin, who is God, does that mean he's a god with multiple personality disorder? You know, it's just something I was thinking of, you know. I think that was sort of tied up a little bit too neatly at the end. Of like, oh yeah, Geki, you're a brilliant leader. And he's like, oh yes, I'll do my best. And then they're like, oh yeah, I won't go off and do my own thing. I'm going to commit myself to this. A little bit neat tying it up in a bow, but at the end of the day, this is a kid's show. And as a man, I'm just a big kid. That's why I love this stuff. But overall, I think it was a good episode. Next week's episode, assuming I'm still doing this on a weekly basis, I may have upped it to 2 a week, depending on how far I get ahead on making these videos. It's the first Kid of the Week episode. instead of being a two-parter, it's a standalone episode. Obviously, this is episode 6, so in about 9-10 episodes' time, we will get the 6th Ranger arc, the Green Ranger, which obviously I'm sure will be everyone's favourites. Obviously, everyone knows Green with Evil from Power Rangers. Well, this is going to be Dragon Ranger with Evil. But before that, we've got the standalone first Kiddie of the Week episode. Let's hope that's a good one. Till next time.